Well, this is very exciting. I get to see some lovely faces today, and we are talking about Christian radio as CHRI Radio celebrates their 20th anniversary today. And so for our good company hangout, it's not just me and one person. It's me and Care, it's me and Johnny, and it's me and James for the first time ever on Good Company. Welcome, James.
Yeah.
Cue the applause. Cue the applause. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, man. Well, all of us have been in Christian radio or non-denominational Christian radio for a couple of years, just a couple. And we represent different areas of the country. Johnny, Alberta, Care, and James right here in Ontario, but different parts of Ontario. So this is quite a rare occurrence, if I'm honest.
Technology has been letting us do this for the last year. We've been connecting coast to coast. So it's great. It's pretty normal, I think, these days.
It's still, I'm not used to it. All right, well, let's talk about Christian radio, how it started, as it had a very interesting start in Canada, didn't it? Let's start with James.
Yeah, I mean, there was a radio station, I guess, out east a number of years ago. But this was before the CRTC got involved and started regulating radio, I guess. And so they were already doing a full-time Christian format, from my understanding. And so when Christian radio became, I'll use the term legal, they were kind of grandfathered into that whole deal. But there was a lot of Christian radio happening before that anyways. Even at Joy, before we were a full-time Christian radio station, we were already airing lots of Christian content. I guess from my understanding from the CRTC, it was just not a full-time 24/7 Christian radio station. That was not allowed. Not that the CRTC had anything against Christians. It was just any type of religious format for a full-time radio station. That was just, not happening. It was happening elsewhere, in the States, but just not in Canada.
Yeah. And I think what's so cool with that is that even though it was happening, the CRTC didn't know that there was a real demand and a real need for having an actual, broadcasting faith. And I think the station that I work at in Ottawa, it's cool because part of our story with the petitioning of getting this station started as I believe the first CRTC licensed Christian station, non-denominational Christian station in the country, is that there was this, we always say this is like the big turning point, but there was this young girl, I think she was like 10 or 11 years old, and she wrote a letter to the panel, the CRTC, and she said, I want a station that I can listen to. I want a station that's good for me as well as my parents and whatever. And so I think that's something that Christian radio across the country aims to do and aims to be, is our music station, a spoken word station, a Christian station for both parents and kids, something that's safe for the whole family.
What year did you guys have? Did she petition and you guys get your station?
The station started in 97. So we're going to be 24 years this year. And so I don't know what actually, I wasn't around, so I don't know when the
I was going to say, I thought Care was there right from the beginning.
No, I'm not that old. I wasn't even a Christian then. Although early days of the station, I definitely was very happy, as an early Christian, should I say, very happy that there was a Christian station around in our city.
It blows me away, though, that it's so relatively new here. And I mean, even in some of the places across Canada, some of the big cities don't even have Christian radio, where you go down in the States and some cities have like 5, 6, 7, 18 different Christian radio stations. And you're just like, can't we get a little something here? So it's kind of nice to see the expansion of Christian radio in Canada, and then kind of seeing the artists in that have expanded from Canada as well.
Yeah. And I think that lets people appreciate when there is a Christian station in their city in Canada. I think we appreciate it a lot more than maybe some people in the States, where they know that they have options. And like you said, Johnny, when some people realize that there isn't one in the next city over, then they really can appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian radio has come a long way over the past 2 decades in Canada, where now we have, stations in some of the major markets. I know Vancouver doesn't have one. That's a Canadian-owned station, which is, it would be great to see that. But what a lot of people don't understand is that in Canada, you have to go through a whole application process. It's a thing. And so not everyone can just start a Christian radio station and have it running, whereas in the US, it's a little bit of a different system. So to have a Christian station in your city is truly a huge blessing, because it had to go through a huge process to be able to even be in existence. And so it's really exciting that we've had stations now who have been, like CHRI Radio, 20 years. Like that's a huge milestone. Over the course of your guys' experience in Christian radio, what are some of the cool things that you have seen change from when it started to now?
Can I jump in first, I guess? I mean, in the city that I grew up in, we just had an AM, we had an AM station in CJCA. And so when I started radio, I actually started on an AM station. So to actually see an FM station be birthed out of that, and to be able to, the people that you listen to, then all of a sudden you started working with, and then you would see other stations, it's quite a thrill.
Yeah,
how about for you, Care?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, even just like the progression from where Johnny's talking about is like, even now there's digital stations and there's online components to what we do. So, as people in radio, it's not just connecting to our listeners over the airwaves. As you know, there's so many connection points now. I think that's probably very different than it was before. Because yes, back in the day, you'd be out and seeing an event or a concert or trying to make a public appearance. But now you've got a whole new platform with social media to be able to get out there and connect with people. So I think more than ever, radio is as a medium that allows us to connect with people in a really personal way.
From my standpoint, I've always been from the Toronto area, and we never had Christian radio. When I started in radio, I was working at a secular radio station. There was not an opportunity for me to be at a Christian radio station. And then, of course, Hollie, I've told you this story before, where I got out of radio for a number of years. And then when I decided to come back, it was really accidental, especially coming to work for Joy. It was actually my wife that listened to Joy all the time and said, "Oh, you should send a demo off to them and see what they say." So for me, I think it's phenomenal that we have, one Christian radio station in the huge market of Toronto. And, going back to, the early days of radio, I mean, there are no frequencies left in Toronto for in particular, an FM radio station. And if, Hollie, you were talking about the fact that there's this huge process involved in just applying for a radio station. Quite frankly, if there's a frequency available, there are many, many applicants for that frequency, including, when Joy applied for the frequency to have a full-time Christian radio station. So, and that's the way it is throughout Canada. If there's a frequency available, it's not just, okay, well, we're going to apply for this, frequency, and so we can have a Christian radio station. As soon as that's out there, the CRTC opens it up where anybody can apply, and it's not necessarily a Christian radio station that they're applying for. They just, I want that frequency. Let's, have hip hop or whatever, So the fact that we have Christian radio throughout Canada is a huge thing. That I guess in Christian radio, we now that we've had it for a while, I think we take it for granted to a certain extent.
And if I can add to that, just as a little education piece too, like when our listeners think they hear a new station come into the market, like I know in our city, there was a big format change, a new station, a new name of a station. It's like, they're not realizing this is not a new station, like what James is saying, that found an open frequency and took over. It's like, no, this is probably a station, part of a huge network of stations that they did some shuffling. Some people probably got fired and moved around, and they're reformatting. Whereas with Christian radio, the revolving door isn't quite so fast. And a lot of times we're owned by private companies, or we're charities owned by or run by a board. Totally different dynamic. So like you said, James, we can't take that for granted, because our dynamic is so unique and so special.
All right, I'm going to throw it out to starting with Johnny. When it comes to Christian radio, why do you feel it's important to have in your market? What's the benefit?
Why do you got to ask me the hardest question and then go with me first?
Yeah, because we're just going to copy what you say, Johnny. So
what you said.
What would you say, James? Just, because I was thinking, and I just wasn't sure if you're thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm thinking exactly what you're thinking, believe it or not.
What's the value of Christian radio to you?
Oh, man.
Why have it?
mean, I think about the listeners, the emails, the phone calls and one comes to mind, and his name is Daryl, lost his 1.5-year-old son, and called us and said, I don't know who I can turn to. I don't know who I can talk to. All I know is that you guys are here and that there's a song that I want to hear. And, could you pray with me? Could you, just be with me? And I don't think that you're going to get that anywhere else. You might get somebody who listens to a radio station, or you might get somebody where you have a bit of a relationship, but to have that much of a relationship that somebody is wanting to call your radio station for prayer, just to talk to you, that's the reason why we have a format. And that's the reason why a radio station, a Christian radio station in your city is so important, because we, yes, are radio and we are entertainment, but we are also family.
Yeah, what he said, James? What Johnny said?
Yeah, that's exactly what was going through my mind. So thanks, Johnny, for just summarizing everything for us.
I tried to do it without tearing up, so I did well. And I know that I've worked with Hollie for a number of years. She remembers that as well. And it's just, that's one of many stories that we probably all have of people and lives that we've been a conduit of something. Not necessarily were we the beginning of it nor the end of it, but we're just a part of somebody's journey and somebody's walk. And that's why we as a whole, as a station, as a community, are so important.
I would say, going back to what Kerr said earlier about the fact that, a Christian format, a Christian radio station, quite frankly, it's family friendly. It's for everyone. Anybody can listen. You don't have to feel you're going to get offended unless you're easily offended by, the lyrics of a Christian song. And sometimes there's a musical style you may not like, and that's fine. Everybody, has their preferences. But certainly the fact that it's a friendly environment. And what blows me away is when you attend events and you see people. Like I've been at Joy events where we're there and people come up in tears, just in tears, saying how much a particular song meant to them, or a particular program meant to them, or things like that. That to me makes it all worthwhile. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What about for you, Kara? What makes it all worthwhile?
I don't even think I can top any of that, because what you said, you guys have said everything. But I heard someone, a speaker, say one time, talking about how music connects with people, and how, especially nowadays, younger people, you notice a lot of the new songs have a lot of like angst, a lot of like, it's almost like it's a little bit like it's tailoring to the hurt and speaking to that side of things. And it might feel like for other people in other generations, like, oh man, all their music is so depressing and so low. And I think the reality is that what separates Christian music, Christian radio from other radio is that we can have a message that hits the real points of life, the challenges we go through. But the difference is that we know, as Christian artists and as believers who hear the songs on Christian radio, that there is a way out, that there is hope out of it, and that there is a God who is with you and is walking through it with you. And again, there is an eternal hope out of that struggle. And so I think that separates the music, the content, that separates our story from stories you hear in other songs.
It's really funny, Kara, as you say that. And, we've been doing a little feature on Wednesday mornings called Worship Wednesday. And so we'll play a worship song at the top of the hour at 7:00. And every time, you want to be able to promote that song and, tell everybody it's coming up and stuff. And quite frankly, I'm always saying the same thing, because it's always a message of hope. But where else can you get that ongoing message of hope in all the different songs that are played on a Christian radio station?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for all of us, we got into Christian radio because we got to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. For me, it was about having positive entertainment, knowing that anytime anyone turns on the radio, they're going to hear something that encourages them, that inspires them, that helps them not feel alone. And so I think for Joy Radio to be in the GTA for 20 years is a testament to just them being able to serve those who are tuning in, looking for that encouragement, the resources, the learning, and being able to grow in their walk with God or be introduced to Jesus in a whole new way. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me here today on Good Company and sharing a little bit about what is valuable to you about Christian radio.
I did it for the money and the fame.
Of course.
The truth comes out with Johnny. Only Johnny.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joy.
Dang it.
And James, thank you so much. I know that it's a Friday and you were up early on the drive on Joy Radio. So thank you for being a part of the round table today on Good Company.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun to hang out with you guys.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a bridge so that we can use this for the podcast. And I see you trolling me, Johnny, with your Good Company mug. That's why I made you go first for that hard question.
Oh, look at that beauty right there.
Oh, goodness. All right.
It's made in China on the bottom.
Kara, how long have you been with CHRI?
I started in 2006.
Okay.
12 years?
Your skill testing question.
Did you like how she did that dramatic thing?
I don't know.
2000.
I think it was 12 years. How many years ago was 12 years?
6, 9,
No, it's longer than that. If 06, that's 15 years.
So 2008, probably almost 13. That might be right.
JK,
I started
how long have you
volunteering
been?
first, so I don't know.
Well, I've been doing mornings for the last 6 years, but before that I was swing. So I wasn't really full time because I had a full time job, but I was the swing guy that they called in, and that was for another 5 years. So total 11, just at Joy, and then of course I had some other radio experience before that, but that was years ago.
And Johnny, you at your station?
03.
03.
Yeah.
Lifer over here.
I know, I was 5 when I started working here.
Pushing buttons.
And that's what I wanted
Entering commercials into Dele.
You guys want to hear something really funny? This is a true fact, and I'm embarrassed to say it actually, but I'm enjoying it. I got my house insurance renewal in the mail the other day, and I looked on the back page because you always want to find out what kind of discounts you're getting and stuff. And so it's I do it with my car insurance, so there's the car insurance discount and everything else. And there was a line on there that said mature citizen discount. Now, while I'm embarrassed, I am enjoying the discount. So,
goodness. Well, that's why I wanted all of you guys on today's roundtable discussion, because there's many years collectively involved with Christian broadcasting. Do you guys mind sticking around for the podcast version of this roundtable?
Sure.
Do it.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So head to faithstrongtoday.com for our full conversation, or to wherever you get your podcast. Just look for Good Company.
You want to do that again? I turned my hat backwards. That wouldn't make any sense.
Why?
Well, because if you're doing a thing and we were talking and then my hat was backwards and then it was forwards, it would look stupid.
It's fine.
On the video side of things.
No, just in general, I look stupid.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to argue.
Can we do a screenshot, Holly?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't know how to do screenshots.
I can do one. You just have to make sure you all look natural. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Smiling?
Smiling's good. I think that's a good one.
Okay.
Let me look at it.
I got my double chin.
Oh, yeah. Cutie. I'll send it to you, Holly, so you guys can post it officially. And then I'll just I'll wait. You can tag me and I'll wait and I'll just share it rather than spoiling anything.
Okay. Sounds good. Guys, thank you so much. I might take the piece of where you were talking. Oh, wait. Thanks, everyone, for me. That was great. That's what Mike says.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks, Mike.
Okay. I don't believe it.
I never know when you're recording and when you're not. I'm like, I just blew it.
Can I one more second for you? We have our station windows there, but they're reflective. And a lady was licking the window as we were doing this, and I was trying not to pay attention to her. And
why didn't you record? You should have flipped your camera.
Yeah, I should have.
It's okay. I'm sitting in the news booth here, and Mike was licking the window here. So.
Can
You actually had a movie. Where are you? I guess are you on the streets? Where are you, Johnny?
That's where we are. We're on one of the main roads in Edmonton. By the way, it's snowing like bananas right now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. I'm under the stairs.
No. Once my new studio's up though, Holly, then I'll be under the stairs too.
Nice. Broadcasting live from the studio under the stairs.
That could be a whole feature.
It could be. Oh,
and then you just keep the name later.
Yeah. Studio.
All right, well.
Thank you guys.
Download our podcast.